For years, truck buyers have been asking the same question. Does the naturally aspirated V8 still have a future? Turbocharged engines keep pushing out impressive torque numbers. Hybrids promise better fuel economy. And electric trucks keep evolving year after year, with automakers racing hard to outdo each other on range and charging speed. But through all of that noise, one thing has never really changed. Thousands upon thousands of Silverado owners still want the sound, the simplicity, and the durability that only a traditional V8 can deliver. No turbo lag to think about. No complicated hybrid battery system to worry about down the road years later. Just a big engine, doing what big engines have always done best. And that is exactly why the 2027 Chevrolet Silverado, riding on GM's brand new 6.6-liter V8, has become one of the most talked about trucks in years, with forums and comment sections already buzzing about what it might be capable of. Chevrolet has officially pulled the wraps off the next generation 2027 Silverado, along with an all-new V8 lineup. Although plenty of technical details are still trickling out gradually as we get closer to launch, automotive outlets have been picking apart every leaked detail since the announcement. And it's easy to see why this particular reveal has generated so much attention across the truck community. What is already crystal clear, though, is that GM is not walking away from gasoline performance the way some critics predicted it eventually would. Instead, the company is pouring serious investment into a whole new generation of small-block V8 engines, doubling down at a moment when a lot of the industry is racing toward electrification. This is not just another mid-cycle facelift with a new grille and some updated taillights slapped on for the model year. The 2027 Silverado marks the start of GM's 6th-generation small-block V8 family, a lineup that replaces engines which have powered Chevrolet trucks faithfully for nearly a decade of loyal service. Rather than sticking with the familiar 5.3-liter and 6.2-liter combination that buyers have known and trusted for years, Chevrolet is rolling out two brand-new gasoline V8 engines from the ground up. The refreshed lineup includes a new 5.7-liter V8, a new 6.6-liter V8, an updated Turbo Max 4-cylinder for buyers who want efficiency, and the 3-liter Duramax diesel for those who need serious low-end grunt. That 6.6-liter V8 is set to become the flagship naturally aspirated gasoline engine across the entire Silverado 1500 lineup, sitting right at the top of the range. Chevrolet is already claiming it will be the most powerful, naturally aspirated V8 in its class, which is a bold statement on its own. Even though the final certified horsepower and torque figures haven't been locked in and published just yet. So why jump all the way up to 6.6 liters instead of sticking with what's already worked for years? A lot of enthusiasts online assumed GM would simply keep using the 6.2-liter engine that's been under the hood for a while now. Instead, engineers made the call to go bigger on displacement. That extra size should let the engine produce noticeably more low-end torque, while still keeping throttle response sharp and immediate, all without leaning on a turbocharger to make up the difference. For truck owners, that distinction actually matters quite a bit in the real world, day in and day out. When you're hauling construction equipment across town or grinding up a steep mountain grade with a trailer behind you, naturally aspirated torque shows up smoothly and instantly, without any lag, while you wait for boost pressure to build up. That immediate, predictable response has always been one of the biggest selling points of a large displacement V8. And it's honestly something turbocharged engines still struggle to fully replicate, no matter how advanced the technology gets. Chevrolet clearly understands that Silverado buyers use these trucks in very different ways, depending on their lifestyle. Some are simply commuting back and forth to work every single day, without ever hitching up a trailer, or any kind of load. Others are towing heavy loads every single weekend, whether that's a boat, a camper, or a horse trailer. And plenty of owners out there are racking up thousands of miles on job sites, week after week, year after year, putting the truck through real work because of that huge variety in how people actually use these trucks day to day. The new 6.6-liter V8 looks like it was engineered with long-term durability as the top priority, rather than simply chasing flashy horsepower numbers for a headline or a magazine cover somewhere. A naturally aspirated design typically brings a handful of real-world advantages that matter over the life of ownership. Simpler long-term maintenance with fewer components to fail, Immediate throttle response the moment you touch the pedal. Smooth, linear power delivery that doesn't spike unexpectedly. Fewer headaches around heat management compared to a turbocharged setup working under constant load. And proven, dependable towing behavior that owners have trusted for generations. Those qualities are exactly what buyers planning to keep a truck well past 200,000 miles are looking for when they walk onto a dealer lot, especially if they've owned V8 trucks before and know exactly what to expect from that kind of reliability over the long haul. It's worth pointing out that GM isn't giving up on V8 power the way a lot of other automakers across the industry already have over the last several years. Several manufacturers have gone the route of downsizing their engines in favor of smaller turbocharged units or full electrification programs. GM decided to take the opposite path here, and that's a notable business bet. The company has already announced major investment in its next-generation small-block V8 production, which sends a pretty clear signal of a genuine long-term commitment to gasoline truck engines, even as GM simultaneously continues to expand its hybrid and electric lineups on other fronts. That investment isn't just talk or a press release either, according to what GM has shared publicly so far. It includes upgraded manufacturing facilities built specifically to produce this next generation of V8 engines at scale. Instead of treating the V8 like outdated technology on its way out the door, GM clearly still sees it as absolutely essential for customers who demand serious towing capability, long-term reliability, and the kind of familiar performance feel they already know and trust from decades of Chevy trucks. Now let's talk about what kind of performance we can actually expect once everything is finalized and Chevrolet is ready to publish real numbers. Chevrolet hasn't released every official spec for the 6.6-liter V8 just yet, but based on current industry expectations and early reporting, we should see meaningful gains across the board compared to today's outgoing 6.2-liter engine. Potential improvements on the table include higher horsepower output, increased torque figures, better overall fuel efficiency, improved emissions performance to meet upcoming regulations, quicker throttle response off the line, and lower internal friction throughout the entire engine assembly. Reports circulating in the industry also suggest this engine benefits from an extensive internal redesign, rather than simply being a straightforward bump in displacement over the old 6.2. In other words, this isn't GM just making the old engine physically bigger and calling it a day. It's a genuinely new architecture, built from the ground up, with modern engineering. The engine isn't the only major upgrade here either. So, let's talk interior for a minute, because Chevrolet clearly didn't hold back on this front. The 2027 Silverado is getting one of its biggest interior overhauls in years, top to bottom. Highlights inside the cabin include a large 16.3-inch infotainment display front and center, a 12.2-inch fully digital driver cluster, an updated dashboard layout with a cleaner look, noticeably improved materials throughout the cabin, more usable storage space tucked into the console and doors, a whole batch of new technology features, and enhanced driver assistance systems for extra peace of mind. Chevrolet has clearly modernized the cabin for 2027, but the automaker also made a deliberate point of keeping physical controls for key functions, like climate and volume, something a lot of longtime truck owners genuinely appreciate, rather than digging through touchscreen menus while driving down the highway. Let's get into towing, since that's really what a lot of you watching are here for. Official tow ratings are still going to vary depending on trim level, axle ratio, and overall configuration, and Chevrolet hasn't published final numbers. But the larger displacement V8 is expected to remain the go-to engine of choice for buyers who regularly pull travel trailers, horse trailers, boats, utility trailers, construction equipment, and large camper setups. Naturally aspirated V8 engines have earned trust over decades for delivering consistent towing performance, mainly because power delivery stays predictable even under sustained, heavy loads, mile after mile. That predictability is a big reason a lot of fleet buyers and commercial operators keep coming back to V8-powered trucks, generation after generation, instead of chasing the newest turbo trend making headlines that year. On the off-road side of things, the new 6.6-liter V8 is also expected to complement Silverado's growing off-road lineup nicely, giving buyers another reason to consider the brand. over its rivals. The Trail Boss and ZR2 trims continue to get specialized suspension setups, locking differentials, larger off-road tires, and upgraded underbody protection for rocks and trail debris. Pair all of that hardware with a high-output, naturally aspirated V8 under the hood, and you're looking at what could become one of Chevrolet's most capable gasoline powered-off road trucks to date, ready for anything from a weekend trail run to a full backcountry expedition deep into the mountains. Of course, none of this happens in a vacuum, and Chevrolet knows it better than anyone. The full-size truck segment remains as fiercely competitive as it has ever been, arguably more competitive than at any point in the last 2 decades, with every automaker fighting hard for loyal repeat buyers. The Silverado's 6.6-liter V8 is going to go head-to-head with the Ford F-150, the Ram 1500, the GMC Sierra, and the Toyota Tundra, all fighting for the same customers walking into showrooms across the country. Every one of those competitors brings something different to the table. Ford keeps leaning heavily into its EcoBoost turbocharged technology across most of its lineup. Ram is putting its focus behind the Hurricane inline-6 engine instead of a traditional V8. Toyota, meanwhile, is leaning hard into hybrid power throughout its truck lineup. Chevrolet, on the other hand, is doubling down on something a lot of buyers still genuinely love: a big, naturally aspirated V8 with no turbo in sight and no hybrid battery to manage. That single decision alone could end up being a major selling point for traditional truck enthusiasts who never wanted to give up that classic V8 feel in the first place, no matter how good the competition gets on paper. As for pricing, Chevrolet hasn't made any official announcement yet, so take these numbers as informed speculation for now. Based on what we know about current market trends, industry analysts are expecting the 2027 Silverado lineup to stay competitive with today's premium full-size pickups already on the market from every brand, rather than jumping dramatically above where the current generation sits today. Higher trims equipped with the new 6.6-liter V8, including the Elts, High Country, Trail Boss, and ZR2, are likely going to command premium pricing, largely because of their added capability, upgraded hardware, and expanded technology packages compared to base trims further down the lineup. So here's the real bottom line on all of this, and it's worth sitting with for a second before we wrap up. The 2027 Chevrolet Silverado's 6.6-liter V8 represents a lot more than just a bigger engine sitting under the hood. It's a clear signal that General Motors still believes there is strong, lasting demand out there for traditional American V8 trucks, even in an era dominated by headlines about electrification. Instead of chasing displacement replacement through turbochargers alone, the way so much of the industry has moved in recent years, Chevrolet is introducing an entirely new small-block V8 family, one that's designed for modern efficiency, while still preserving the character that truck owners have loved for generations of Silverado ownership. If the final performance numbers live up to expectations when they're officially announced, this 6.6-liter V8 could end up being one of the most desirable engines Chevrolet has ever put in a Silverado, delivering the sound, the torque, the reliability, and the towing confidence that continue to define the full-size American pickup truck for another generation.